Have you ever followed career advice that has completely backfired? Well, you're not alone. In fact, some of the most common tips are actually hurting your chances of getting hired, wasting your time, and costing you money. Today, we're counting down the top 10 worst pieces of career advice that I have heard over my nearly 2 decades of working in HR. Number one is that you should keep it strictly professional in interviews. Yes, there needs to be a level of professionality in interviews, but think about it. You are not only being interviewed to do the job, but you're also being interviewed to see if you are going to be a fit within the team, within the department, and within the company. I have seen a lot of candidates who, on paper, their skills might be at a 90% match, but the job offer goes to the person who's at like an 80% match, but has the personality that is going to fit within that team. And so that's why it's so important that you let parts of you shine through during your interview. If you're funny, then be a little bit funny. If you're really passionate about something, show that off too. Make sure that you're balancing both your skills and your personality in an interview, because at the end of the day, it's both components that are going to get you job offers. Number two is that hard work pays off. Now, this would be true if it was followed by, and you advocate for yourself. Hard work in isolation is just hard work. Hard work plus you speaking up for yourself, letting people know that you are doing this hard work, that is what is going to take you to the next level. I know we have a tendency to think, well, we shouldn't be too braggadocious or say, it was all me, it was all me. But there's a balancing act between being that complete douchebag who does that and being the person that recognizes their value. And that's what you need to do. You need to do the hard work plus have people know that you have done the hard work. And this doesn't have to be complicated. After you've taken on a project and it's been successful, you speaking up and saying, it was a great opportunity to take on this project, and I love the fact that it impacted the company or the department in this specific way. Going forward, I would love to explore what other type of opportunities there are where I can continue to contribute in valuable ways, not only for the company, but also for my own personal growth. That is not obnoxious at all. In fact, it's something that employers want to see. They want to see you not only do the hard work, but also they want you to say, hey, I'm excited to continue to grow within the company. Those are the people that are going to have the opportunities come their way because they've made it known that they want them. And next up is to fake it till you make it. And this one is embedded in our culture. It's a sort of pride that we take upon ourselves that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm not going to ask for help, and I'm just going to figure it out all on my own until I have succeeded. In reality, that's sometimes the wrong approach to take. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't put in the time and effort to try to figure things out, but there's going to reach a point in certain circumstances where you're gonna have to say, I need help. Generally, when you are in a role, there are gonna be people who have been doing that same job for months, years, even decades longer than you. Use them as a resource. And next is keyword stuffing. Don't do this. Yes, a lot of bigger companies use ATS systems or applicant tracking systems. So there is this myth that you should just keyword stuff your resume so it makes it past those systems. Okay, let's say it does make it past those systems. And now what? Well, now your resume is in the hands of a human, because always, at least at this point in time in 2025, humans are looking at a resume before they're giving you a call. So if you've keyword stuffed your resume, but it really doesn't make sense to the human eye, you're not going to get any further. You have to both balance, which I'm using that word a lot, I realize, but it is, a lot of this is balance, is you have to figure out how to tailor your resume, but have it make sense to a human eye. Strictly sticking in a bunch of words or doing that white fonting where you put the words on the resume but then change the font to white so it can't be seen, that's still going to result in the same thing. It might get you past the ATS system, but you're going to be in front of human eyes and they're going to be like, well, okay, I don't see why this person ever made it to my desk in the first place. Take the time to write thoughtful resumes that highlight your experience, not just stuff as many keywords into it as possible. And next up is buying into the we're a family mentality that some companies try to promote. No. If you are being hired for a position, you are not being hired into a family. You are being hired into a business. Because at the end of the day, when decisions have to be made, they are being made based on business needs. And I get it. It is so easy to think, yeah, but people care about me here. And I'm not saying that they don't care about you. But when you adopt the we're a family mentality, it's easy to get a little bit lax, to think, well, I'm never going to be laid off because we're a family here, or maybe even overshare information. And that is where you can get into trouble. So yes, sure, enjoy the people that you work with, enjoy the company that you work at, but always remember to maintain some level of professional distance and objectivity, because they do not owe you anything more than a paycheck. And if new people come in, the mentality may shift. Or if you say or do something that could cost them business or put their company name on the line, you'll be surprised how quickly it turns from family to employee. And next up is to love what you do. It's okay to not love what you do. It's okay to clock in and clock out for a paycheck. In fact, most of us have had that type of job in our lives. And there are going to be plenty of us who have only that type of job throughout our lives. If you find a career that lights you up every single day, one that you are excited to go to for months, years, and decades in the future, then that's awesome. But if not, that's okay too. Now, you should find something that lights you up in some way, in some capacity in your life, but that does not need to be your job. That being said, whatever job you have, make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability, but don't feel the pressure to have to love it, to have it be your dream or the perfect job, because sometimes they're not. And next up is that job hopping is bad or it's great. There seem to be two camps, one where it's don't do it, and the other one's like, yes, you need to do it. What your unique situation is different than somebody else's. And when it comes to job hopping, you need to look specifically at what your goals are and what your current life requires. Now, if you're a freelancer or you take on contract roles, on your resume, yeah, it's gonna look like you have had a lot of different experiences, because you have, and that's not a bad thing. Now, if you keep bouncing from job to job because there's something you don't like about it, well, that's a different story, because then that shows that you're never quite happy enough. So you're always seeking that next thing. But if you're like, yes, I had this opportunity and then this one came up and I just couldn't pass it up, and then some life occurrence happened, I needed to move across the country, so that's why I landed in this role after only a few months. It depends. It depends on you. It's neither good nor it's bad. So if somebody is telling you one way or the other, then they don't know you or your situation and probably aren't giving you great advice. And next up is asking this specific question in an interview. And that is, so when do I start? Yeah, being on the other side of the hiring table, whenever this question was asked, I would just give one of those little like awkward chuckles, like, oh, we'll see. Or I don't even know what I would say. It was just something where I felt a little cringy, and that's not the note that you want to leave your interview on. And I'm all about the questions, but make sure those are questions that, one, show your interest in the company and the team and the department, but also questions that you genuinely want to know. And now you could say, yeah, well, I genuinely want to know, when do I start? But there are much better ways to ask this question. Something like, could you let me know what the timeline is for making a decision on this position? Or when should I expect to hear back from you regarding next steps? Something like that is way better than, so When do I start? And next up is to just be grateful for the offer and not negotiate. Now, I know someone who was given this advice and did not negotiate. And it was eating at her years later, as it should. Because if you are not taking the opportunity to negotiate at the beginning, you are losing out on hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars during your time at that position and beyond, because it impacts your 401k, it impacts your Social Security, it will impact you for a long time. So make sure to take the time to review your job offer. Look at the total compensation package. And if you feel as though you need to negotiate your salary, then do it. And never in my nearly 2 decades of HR experience have I ever rescinded an offer because somebody wanted to negotiate. And finally, the myth that there is a career ladder is completely outdated. A ladder implies that you start at the bottom and work your way straight up. But in reality, you could step off the ladder completely, hop onto a different ladder, take a few steps back on the ladder. Open yourself up to the idea that your career is going to be uniquely yours. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. It's going to be different than somebody else's. And there is not one set way to go about it. Toss out that ladder and just make it your own path. Now I'm curious, what's some bad career advice that you've gotten? And did you follow it or not?